All right, guys. So the jury for the Derek Chauvin trial is speaking out, right? Because he was found guilty on all three counts. They probably feel safe to come out and tell their story. Okay. And one juror in particular, his name is Brandon Mitchell. He spoke with ABC and he's been doing his rounds about how he felt during the process. But there was something that was said in particular during this interview that made me kind of think, okay? Because he basically stated that his mind was already made up before he could even hear the defense.
And you, of course, voted to convict Chauvin. But was there anything at all, any kind of evidence or testimony presented by the defense that ever gave you pause about Chauvin's guilt?
No. I thought their strongest point was just the opening statement, and I just waited for an aha moment the entire time. I was waiting for that moment for them to have some evidence that was just damning and just be like, I could just be like, wow, that's that piece of evidence that they maybe could use that can change my mind. But I never seen it.
Take us inside that deliberation room, because I've been a juror before, and you kind of take an unofficial poll when you first sit down just to kind of get the temperature of the room, who thinks this person is guilty or not. Did you guys do something like that? Was there any one at all that you felt at some point we might have to convince this person, or you all were all on the same page right from the beginning?
We definitely had a preliminary poll that we did at first, like a preliminary vote, just to see where everybody was. There was nobody necessarily on the not guilty side, but there was, people that were unsure at the time. And they just needed some more time just to be sure on which way they wanted to go. So we talked it out, and they all came to a consensus. Everybody came to a consensus and was comfortable with the decision that we made.
Anything that surprised you during that deliberation? Any kind of conversation or question?
There was nothing too surprising. I think I was actually most surprised that we were not in and out of there in less than an hour. That was probably the most surprising thing for me.
Because it was a little over 10 hours. And so you're saying really during that time, people were really trying to figure out and come to a conclusion.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page and comfortable with being on the same page and ready to make the decision before we submitted anything. We really wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable.
And lastly, what do you hope comes out of this landmark trial of which you played such a pivotal role?
Yeah, well, I'm really just hoping for some type of change within the policing in America. Black men are being killed at a disproportionate rate by police officers, and I mean that's not what they're supposed to be here for. They're here to protect and serve, and we need to figure out a way to get that going, just the protection and the serving of the communities, and that's it.
All right, guys. So I just wanted to get this straight. The purpose of this video is not to defend Derek Chauvin. That's not the purpose of this video. Okay. The purpose of this video is to highlight how a juror is coming out and saying, I basically had my mind made up from the opening statement. And he was waiting until the defense could give him an aha moment for him to change his mind. Okay. And again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't it supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? When you are, a juror, and I've never been one. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I could be completely off base in this video, right? I could be completely off my rockers here. But aren't you supposed to have an open mind, right? Aren't you supposed to go in there saying, you know what, I'm going to let both sides present their argument, and then I am going to make my mind up based off the evidence that I've seen from both sides, right? You're not supposed to go in and say, okay, you know what, I think he's guilty. I'm going to let the defense prove that he's not guilty, right? He's supposed to be innocent. You should say he's innocent, and then I need the prosecution to prove that he actually committed a crime. And again, guys, this point of this video is I'm not trying to defend Derek Chauvin here. I'm not, okay? But when jurors come out and say stuff like this, regardless of what side you're on, regardless of, what you want to happen, we should all be concerned about this, Okay, you should be concerned because it's like, okay, did he really have a fair and impartial jury? Right? Like, was it really fair and impartial? With this statement, I have some serious questions. Now, I've been reading about, Derek Chauvin and the opportunity to appeal and all that stuff. And we all remember what the judge said about him being able to appeal on the grounds that the jury may have been persuaded or tampered with by comments from the mayor of Minneapolis and Maxine Waters and others during the trial. Okay. And, in my opinion, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know much about this. I'm just, again, a guy on the internet. I'm thinking that if the jurors are coming out and saying stuff like this, is this not giving more ammunition to the defense to say that this trial wasn't fair? Right? Because in my opinion, I mean, I'm sitting here listening to this guy and I'm like, this dude had his mind made up. There's no way that this man, again, considering the things that he said, also about social justice and, police brutality and stuff like that too. And I get it, right? Like, we're exposed to America. Everybody has opinions on stuff, right? But when you're openly saying this stuff out loud, it just seemed to me like he just already knew, right? He already knew what he wanted to do. The defense had to prove that he was innocent, not the other way around. I'm not necessarily sure that that's the way it's supposed to work. And I can be definitely OD about this. I can be overthinking it. I can be listening to his words a little bit too closely. But it just sounded like to me that he was just saying like, yo, he had to prove that he was innocent. That's what it sounded like. Or at the very least, it's heavily implied. Okay? But honestly, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm doing this video. I want to hear from you guys. So with more of these jurors coming out and giving their testimony, because I mean, again, it's probably money for them to do that, right? Like they can easy way to promote yourself. Hence the podcast plug in the background. Who knows? Maybe more of these people will start saying stuff like this, and maybe they might start biting their own tongues, stepping on their foot, and giving the defense some ammunition to try to appeal this thing. And I've heard that it's unlikely that he will win the appeal. It's very unlikely that he will win, but, with the Maxine Waters thing, with the public officials speaking out, and then now the jurors are coming out and saying stuff like this. I don't know, man. I don't know. They might want to stop talking. If I was these guys, I would not be trying to give the defense more ammunition to appeal this thing. But, hey, who knows? But I could be off base on this. I just want to share this with you guys and get your opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.